Like I promised, guys, I'm going to do a review for the Xbox 360 version of Spider-Man 3 because that's the one version I own. I remember I played this game so much because I don't know why. I think I just loved it, I guess. I don't know. But this game is much better than the PS2 version. I mean, how could it not be? You're on a new console and it works very well. Yeah. Yeah, the game is much better. What makes it work better? There's a lot of different times of now there's like how the graphics are much better, but they are a bit dated today. But they're way better than the PS2. There's a lot. Also, the frame rate's much better, and also it does feel like a bit of an update on the PS2 version of Spider-Man 2, in terms of mechanics, graphics, and the way, and in terms of the details and textures of certain of Manhattan. And also, there's a lot more elements of fun and a lot more variety to this version than to the PS2. There could be a lot of comparisons in case you guys want to know. There's a lot of different interesting side missions. I mean, you do some missions with this person called the Wolf, who makes you do some vigilante work, I guess you can say. And there's a lot of stuff you can do. And the game feels more open. I mean, like, she makes you do some sort of vigilante work, and there's a time where you even have to enter a building to help people get out of there. So there's a lot more variety and a lot more stuff. It's a lot more open in terms of what stuff you can do. Now, there are some locations that aren't open sometimes. Now, there's a time where there was a burning building that when I was in the area was still burning. I could still enter it, but once I left, it was closed off. Yeah. But one thing I can say about, I mean, you could enter, Daily Bugle at any time in Spider-Man 2. You can enter both Daily Bugle and also like Peter's apartment, although where it was located was inaccurate compared to where the movies would place it. Like what I mean is like location of Peter's apartment in the game is inaccurate to where it takes place in the movie. It's a lot more accurate in terms of for Spider-Man. I have to say I really did like that. And also you can enter the place. It's kind of cool. And yeah. There's a lot more better combat. There's a lot more variety, combos, and there's even this, like, whenever you get the black suit, you stay in the black suit. And yeah. There's also like this thing you could do, you can build up rage with it, and you could use and when you use the rage, you can use it to perform some combo moves. You can also perform a lot more damage. Overall, you can deal more damage, and yeah, it's freaking awesome being in the black suit, and it's kind of cool. The web shooting mechanics are also, I think, a little bit better because I mean there's a lot more fluidity to them, and also there's even times where you can use the analog stick to shoot where you want to shoot a web. I like that. I think it works very well. I like that a lot. And also, like, even if you're too high above the building, like, there's a time where he'll shoot a web and there's no building there, and he will just plummet to the ground. It's pretty cool. There is a good speed. Like, there was a turbo mechanic. I mean, if you hold like the X button on the PS2 and you let go at a certain time, he will get this temporary boost. It just didn't feel that good because the frame rate didn't feel very good, and also it just felt very stiff and just didn't look that good. Here at Spider-Man 3, it looks much better. It's very more fluid. It has a more fluid frame rate, and thus everything moves along very well. If there's anything though that I have issues with this game, like I'll get to it. Wait, there is a lot more open stuff you can do. There's a lot more variety of side missions you can do, and there are some things that they did cut out from the PS2 version. They add some things into the PS3 version, like this one involving like. They are also like more geographically accurate with Lizard. I mean, like, you can actually visit some locations again. Well, not really, but yeah. And this one's also much longer. There's a lot more stuff you can do in PS3 version, Xbox 360 version, PS3 version. Especially if they also make the story mode a lot longer, and there's some cool stuff you can do. Like kind of like exploring some of the areas. Even though I'm not sure why you'd want to visit a sewer. There also are some cool stuff involving like this subplot with Scorpion and this company that transformed him into who he is. There's also one involving You know, Spider-Man 2 also had a Black Cat and the Shocker. I never went into detail because I didn't really care. But PS like a PSP offers up like this version offers up a lot more stuff you can do, especially with Daily Bugle missions. Well, like, you know, competing with Eddie Brock. I like that. But if you want me to be more clear about it, like, this game is much better. There also are some good. Elsewhere is a cool. I mean, it's a lot more better. There's a lot more variety of side missions you can do involving, like, you know, gangs. And it's just, however, there are some issues I have with this game. One of my biggest issues is there's a lot of use of buttons. Like, there's a lot of quick time events having to push buttons, and that gets really annoying because sometimes you have to really be quick, and it's not that easy. It takes a lot to do that. Also, there's some enemies and bosses that are very hard. I mean, like, Venom is hard at times, and yeah. However, there are some times like where, like, I was fighting him at a construction site that I could actually leave that part of the area to try and get away from him because yeah, that's an example of more freedom, and it's more open when you're fighting him. Because I mean, I felt like there was one area of the construction site where I felt so restricted, but there's a lot of issues when having to deal with all these combos, like all these button mashing and shit. And sometimes some of these boss battles are not very easy. Like when you're playing New Goblin, it is cool playing him. I mean, he's a lot of fun to play. And you can even enter the the Osborn residence. It's kind of cool. There's like no other characters there. And the game is, yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, there are some things you can visit. There are some things that you can explore, some areas. There are some that are completely different from how the movies interpreted them, like the Daily Bugle especially. Yeah, that's not very accurate, but whatever. It's fine. There are a lot of side missions. There are some that are pretty hard, like involving, like, you know, like Mr. Jameson getting captured by, yeah. There are some random events that happen too, and some of them are kind of fun. There's a lot more to them. So I do like how there's a lot more entertainment value, and there's a lot more variety than PS2. But there still are issues. Like, I remember seriously, whenever characters are talking, like, in the games, their mouths would not move. Like, when you're talking to NPCs and all that shit, they don't move. It just looks weird. One thing I also like is you can also use your spider sense. Like, you can click the button, and thus you're able to use your spider sense to sense things, like sense certain, like, areas, and certain, not only certain areas, but also find certain objectives, like dangers or something like that. I do like how that works. It works very well. Also, I do like, you know, like how you can climb on a wall and you can also still fight on it, although it was never useful to me. And there is a boss battle with the New Goblin. I don't think I really went through that. I don't really remember going through that in the PS2 version. Maybe I did. I just don't really remember that much because I haven't played that game in years. But that one felt very free because there's a lot more stuff you could do, and yeah. Also, the graphics are much better. I mean, there's a lot more color and detail to Manhattan. It just feels more lively and it feels like an actual city, rather than being kind of bland and boring than like in the PS2 version. Yeah. This one is just a lot more fun to do, but there still are some issues. You may encounter some glitches. I did so as well. You can actually swim in the water, though you move so slow, which really sucks. There are some cool button mashes. There are times where I've gone through it unintentionally, just like, you know, mashing buttons together, try and kill some people, try and hurt some people. It's a lot of fun to do. The story is a lot better, and they do manage to offer up tons of more. Like, it feels more like a story mission rather than just a random event sometimes generated, like in the PS2 version. Like, there are times where we had to, like, you know, like, get rid of lizards. Yeah, they didn't do it in the sewer. Like, you had to find, like, a cure, like, in the sewers. That felt more real. And, of course, you still have, you know, the voice actors. I mean, you have, you know, you have Bruce Campbell doing the narration again. He's awesome. You have Tobey Maguire, J.K. Simmons, James Franco, Kirsten Dunst. She's not really, Mary Jane's not in the game that much. She's only there for some side missions involving, you know, like wooing her, swinging. And whenever you're in the black suit, you can see him changing. The story is much stronger, but it's just nothing that really stood out to me. And there are sometimes with the button mashing, and we have to find the right button moves and do it at the right time, is very hard. It really is hard to do. And I don't have the best memory, so memorizing them is not the best thing. And you have to always be careful with your timing, because if you press it too early, you're probably screwed. One thing I can say about the game is that there is a lot of difficulty at times. It's sometimes just fun to do. There's just a lot more stuff you can do. Like explore some more environments and do some more missions. You can even fight Rhino in this game. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And he's a lot harder than in Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I mean, you know, but there are still some issues. I mean, the game is not perfect. Playing as the new Goblin, he is fun. I do like playing him, like, you know, whenever, like, that mission. And there's also a boss battle like him in Sandman. Some of it is a bit hard, especially when you have to wet this, wet Sandman. He's gonna throw shit at you. You always have to make sure you wet it so it doesn't hit you and kill you. But it's so hard. It is really hard. But I have gone through the game. But Jesus Christ, you can even replay the entire game in the black suit. However, there is no load game. Like, you can never start a new game. You have to start a new game on a new profile. I think it's really stupid. It's kind of cool they were also a little lazy with some of the other aspects of this game. So yeah, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more entertaining. There's a lot more variety to it. But unfortunately, and like, it is lower. It's graphically superior, but there still are some issues with this game. There are a couple glitches. There are some of the main tile menus. Like, you can't really start a new game when you want to. It's start a new profile, which I think is really stupid. You could replay the game twice. I mean, you could play the game once. You could replay it again in the black suit. That's really it. Yeah, that's very fun. Very fun. But as a whole, I do think it's a much better game. I mean, it's a lot better. It has a better frame rate. PS2 version. It has a longer story mode. There's a lot more frame rate. There's a lot better combos. A lot better combat. And overall, it felt more like a game that challenged more of Spider-Man 2. But in my opinion, there still are so many flaws with that one that Spider-Man 2 really just manages to still prevail, even though there still are some updates with Spider-Man 3. It just never works the same because it just didn't have the legacy and the impact. And in my opinion, I thought the game had more. I thought the game was a lot more to offer. You know? Anyways, I think I'm going to give Spider-Man 3 on the PS3 maybe a 3.5 out of 5. It's not a perfect game, but it is fun. It has a few issues, and it's not better than Spider-Man. In my opinion, it doesn't have it's not Spider-Man 2. So yeah. It is a bit hard at times, but overall I do enjoy it for the most part. It is a bit of fun, but there are issues. It's not a perfect game. Anyways, guys, my review for this PS3 version, Spider-Man, Xbox 360 version, Spider-Man 3, comment below. Do you prefer this one over the PS2 version and Wii version? I do, obviously. You probably do as well. And what's your favorite Spider-Man game? Mine could just be Spider. I said Spider-Man 2 is my favorite. Yeah, if it's not bad, maybe Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah. Anyways, guys, comment below, subscribe to my channel for more videos.